What is up, everyone? Here we are back again, another episode 15 of Yank This here at Fired Up Sports. Coming off the sweep, the barely sweep of the Pirates. And Tommy, how are we feeling? All right, yeah. Tommy's dealing with some technical difficulties
Thoroughly.
right now. Go ahead, Tommy. We got you now.
No, I was just saying. Yeah. Well, whether it's thoroughly or barely, it's wins or wins. That much closer to clinching a spot. We
All right, well,
win tonight with a
Tommy,
couple
yeah,
losses
Tommy's
that we're
still
gonna
in the
need
car
for a
right now.
stretch run. It's amazing what judges.
Either way, let's just get into it. We are one game away from clinching a playoff berth. If we win tonight or Baltimore loses, we're in. No more memes of if the Yankees will make it after the really really bad second half. Um, Tonight, we got, I believe, Tyon on the mound. So I know I haven't been the biggest fan of Jameson Tyon this season, but we're gonna see what he can do. The lineup tonight is Judge, Rizzo, Glaber, Donaldson, Stanton, Cabrera, Bader, IKF, and Higgy behind the plate. Tommy, how are we feeling about that lineup? If you can hear me.
I can hear you. I did miss the lineup part. I am sorry, man. It's just today's a little bit of a tough day. What was the lineup?
It's Judge in right, Rizzo at first, Torres at second, Donaldson at third, Stanton at DH, Waldo in left, and there he goes. And there he goes. Yeah, Tommy's just dealing with some technical difficulties right now, but I'm here, so I'm going to talk about what we need to talk about. So what I'm going to get into first is the returns. We got Efros back today. We got Zach Britton back today, which was up in the air for a while on if he would ever come back. But apparently he had some good rehab starts, or rehab performances, and now he came back, and we're probably gonna see him. I'd be surprised if we don't see him tonight. Um, I feel like activating him right now is trying to put together the bullpen for the playoffs, and maybe with the uncertainty at closer, Zach Britton's a very good arm to have in the back end of that bullpen, especially with his experience as a closer for Baltimore. And I think he got a few saves as a Yankee before, all the injuries happened. But we also got Scott Efros back earlier this week. We got Harrison Bader back. Giancarlo Stanton looks like he's back. He looks like he's not hurt anymore. After he came back, he had like a really, really bad stretch, but over the last week and a half, he's kind of turned it around, capping it off with that grand slam to win game one against Pittsburgh. Um, Other than that, it is just great to get our guys back. Yes, we did DFA Miguel Andujar. Um, and honestly, it was about time. He kind of didn't look like a MLB caliber player over the last 4 years. Yes, you could attribute that to injuries, but just decision making. I mean, down in AAA, apparently he was playing outstanding. So maybe a team will pick him up. Maybe he will bounce back. But for a guy that hit like what was it, 46 triples, 47 doubles, and 27 home runs in a season, and hit nearly 300, and then just never go near that again. Um, I think it was time to move on. Surprised he wasn't traded, which makes me think that his market isn't the biggest. Um, Maybe somebody will claim him on waivers. Who knows? What team would really need that? I mean, he's a credible piece to have. He's not the best defender. He's a very average player. Um, I don't really think he does anything outstanding. But yeah, Miguel Andujar is gone. Another guy we got back was Rizzo last week in Milwaukee. Came back, immediately hit a home run after Judge. And we will be talking about Judge later on in the show. Hopefully, Tommy will be back for that. But Nestor, like we're starting to get our guys back, and it's about the right time. I'm even hearing things about Matt Carpenter. His X-rays came back clean, so he's going back to baseball activities right now. So maybe by the skin of his teeth, Matt Carpenter can come back. DJ LeMahieu is back in the next couple of weeks. I haven't heard anything about Benintendi. Sure, yes, we did lose Montas and Wandy over the last week, but Montas really just did look. He looks bad in New York. They had the stat of let me see if I could find it. They had the stat where Frankie Montas in Oakland was amazing. Like he had a 2 ERA, and like he was outstanding, winning record and all. Yeah, Frankie Montas this season at the Oakland Coliseum, 12 games, 72 and a third, and a 2.37 ERA. At every other ballpark in 15 games, pretty much the same amount of innings pitched, 71 and a third to 72 and a third at Oakland, and a 5.82 ERA. His ERA more than doubles outside of Oakland. So Montas just has not looked good. And for a guy that we expected to be the 2 or 3 starter, come playoff time, it looks like he may even miss out on the rotation to guys like Herman and Tyone. So we're gonna see. Hopefully Montas, this little injury stint can get him in the right headspace so he can come back and just make everything, just get in gear. I guess I would say. But Frankie Montas, I think, is a back end starter in the postseason at this point, maybe a 4 or 5 guy. I think German has outplayed him, and they pretty much. I German has more time with the Yankees, of course, but I feel like German has proven that he's the guy that I trust out there, and he was even willing to come out of the bullpen. We saw that this week, where he pitched again phenomenally in the 3 innings that he pitched. But I really, really like German in the starting rotation. Cole's obviously going to get his spot. Cortez is obviously going to get his spot. Severino looked really good yesterday. So where does Montas fit? A 5 guy. Maybe you could put him at 4 if you want to put him above someone like Herman just due to inexperience, or Severino if you want to check his innings. I get that, but other than that, I don't really see where Montas is going to fit in. Even at the trade deadline, I was more about going for Carlos Rodon. I thought another lefty would have been great for this team in the rotation, especially after the fact that we got rid of Jordan Montgomery. So that was basically our second lefty gone. And then you don't go out and get Carlos Rodon. I understand his contract is nothing like Harrison Bader's, who we traded Montgomery for. Bader still has a couple years of team control. He's not an expensive contract. He's young. He's fast. He filled the hole. He did, and we've seen him play really well since coming back from his injury. But I felt like another lefty, especially with the season Carlos Rodon is having. Like, if you look at Montas' season and you look at Rodon's season, it's night and day. Rodon is just better right now, and we need to win right now, because the facts are the facts that Judge does not have a contract with this team past this year, and he has been linked to many teams, the Mets, the Red Sox, the Giants, the Dodgers. He's been a hot topic just because of the MVP and the amazing season, but also because he's a free agent. He can go anywhere come next season. So you're gonna have to win now, and that's what I thought Carlos Rodon would do. I get Montas. You got him for a couple of years. He's the better contract. Same thing with Bader. He filled a hole, but I think Carlos Rodon in this starting rotation, if you put him at 3, hell, you could probably put him at 2 behind Cole, and then have Nestor or Severino as a game 3 starter. Like, that is just a stacked, like, rotation. Tyon, again, he could drop down to the pen or be a 5 guy. German would be in the pen, Clark Schmidt. So you're not short of starters. So I would have given Rodon the chance, restructure his contract, or just try to trade him at the beginning of the offseason to get off of his money. So that's where I was at in terms of Montas. But again, we're getting a lot of guys back. Britton, we saw Bader's immediate impact that he brought to this team. You know, he's got 5 RBIs in the first couple of games, so you can't really ask a guy for too much more than that. Especially coming off a very long injury and an injury that could have hampered him because his game is predominantly on speed, and then he had a foot injury. His defense and his speed are the main parts of Bader's game, and he looks as good as he did in St. Louis. So, looking forward to see what Harrison Bader can do for us this season. In the little time he has, again, he looks really, really good in the first couple of games that I've seen him. But let's get into the team we played over the last couple of days that had 2 different types of endings. You had a game that ended in the ninth and a game that ended in the first. I think that the Pirates, we know what the Pirates are, right? The Pirates are a team that isn't really trying to do anything right now other than sell tickets. That's why they kept Cabrian Hayes, Brian Reynolds. O'Neal Cruz is looking like a stud. He looks like one of the most fun players to watch over the next couple of years. I see him as a potential face of baseball type guy. He's just a fun guy to watch. He's a freak of nature athlete. But at the end of the day, the Pirates are the Pirates. They haven't been very good for a majority of the 2000s. So when we are down 8-4 in the bottom of the ninth against this borderline AAA team that the Pirates trot out there, there's just a lot of confusion there. And yes, we came back. Judge hit number 60. Stanton hit the grand slam to send us home. I understand that. But the second game was more what it should have looked like when we just out of the gates, Waldo grand slam, game over basically, and then they just pile on after that. That's what the game should have looked like. That's what the series should have looked like. But game 1 was just a little bit scary. The bullpen, the thing is with the return of Britton, you could honestly slot him into a closer role because we don't have a solidified closer anymore. For about 60% of the season, it looked like Clay Holmes was the guy. He just hasn't panned out after his injury and even slightly before his injury. Clay Holmes looks like he was regressing to the mean and what he did in Pittsburgh. I don't trust Aroldis Chapman. Chad Green's injured. Michael King is injured. So now you're left with Britton, Loizaga, and Marinaccio. I think Marinaccio the entire season has been the most consistent, but specifically in the back half, I'm taking Jonathan Loizaga. I know he had the 2 earned runs this week, but they weren't really on him. A soft tapper and a runner advancing because of a throwing error by Anthony Rizzo. He doesn't score on that. He gets pulled. And then Clay Holmes gives up the home run, which are 2 of the runs that were attributed to Loizaga. So, and then you got Marinaccio, who, again, top to bottom has been the most consistent. But then you have Zach Britton coming back, getting activated today. He has the experience as a closer. He had the experience as a closer in Baltimore. He is, when he's on, he's a very, very good closer. So we still have a closer race to go to, and we're still in the last 20 games of the season. So we're gonna see who's gonna take it come postseason time. And I feel like by the time we come back here next week for episode 16, we should have a more clear idea of what the who the back end of the bullpen looks like. But again, just dominating them yesterday, 14-2. Cabrera had the grand slam, and then Gleyber Torres hits 2 in the same inning, which is crazy. So they bat around in the 8th, they score 8, and Gleyber Torres homers twice in that inning. So Gleyber Torres, he's another guy that looks back. He looks like a guy that's healthy, and he looks like a guy that's mentally healthy as well. He's a guy that's not really trying to pull the ball as much. And again, we talked about I think me and Tommy talked about it last week or the week before. Um we saw we could tell when um Gleyber Torres is trying to pull the ball, and it's just a tight swing. It's not it really just results in a lot of grounders. But when he's using the whole field, he looks like a totally, like, calm player. He's a guy that's confident in the box. So, I think, Gleyber Torres has looked really, really good for, I would say, a majority of the season at this point. Do I resign him in the offseason? I don't know. Because he is inconsistent. He's consistently inconsistent, and that is with the guys we have in the farm right now. Maybe we could afford to lose a guy like Glaber. I really like Glaber. I don't want to lose him, but when you have guys like Peraza and Cabrera and Sweeney even in Double A that could and LeMahieu himself who can play both middle infield spots and first base and third base, you can't really get a lot for Glaber Torres. Is where I'm at. Um, that's why he was brought up in trade talks because of the prospects we have. Who knows? If they pan out, Cabrera looks really good. If he could get the stick, I mean, he's hitting 230 for a rookie that came up mid-season, and he was injured in AAA. If I remember, he didn't spend a lot of time in AAA before the call up. But yeah, you have guys like those like Sweeney. We are three. I think 3 of our top 5 or 6 prospects are shortstops. We're gonna see probably 2 of them. I mean, Cabrera plays a really good outfield. Cabrera does play a good left and right field, but I feel like the middle infield they want is Cabrera and Peraza. So I don't know where that leaves Torres, but that's the future. Last night, Torres 2 home runs, same inning, crazy, crazy stuff. And then again, Cabrera with the grand slam. And again, Cabrera looks really good. I like what he's shown recently. For a guy that again he could be replaceable. I was honestly saying to package him for a Benintendi trade or like a Brian Hayes trade or a Castillo trade before he was called up. And I could see why the Yankees held on to him. He's a really, really good defender. He's one of the, I would say, this team is filled with really good fielders. I was gonna say something outlandish, and he's like a top 3 defender on this team, but Donaldson is up there, Rizzo is up there, Judge is up there, Bader is up there, Benintendi when healthy is up there. So I wouldn't say all that, but a phenomenal defender that you could play at legitimately 5 positions. You could play him, and apparently he's also trained for first. I know he played a game at first this year. So you got a crazy gadget guy in Oswaldo Cabrera that you could build around. So I really like it, and he's a fun guy to watch. Just play. You see how he runs the bases, celebrates, and very energy filled guy is Waldo. So I look forward to the future for this team, but that's the far future. The near future is tonight. If we beat Boston tonight, we are in the playoffs. No more jokes or memes about missing. After the collapse of August. So tonight we do play Boston. They are the worst team in the American League East, which is a high bar, really. This is a team this is a division that has 4 teams over 500, so you can't really fault the Red Sox for being 72 and 76. They're still a very good team. It's a lineup that kind of haunts this team really. Um, as you can see with the records right there. Um, the Boston lineup looks like Tommy Pham out in left, Rafi Devers, who's really a Yankee killer, out in third. Bogarts at shortstop, Verdugo in right, JD Martinez, Tristan Casas, Enrique Hernandez, Yu Chang, and Connor Wong. So the middle part of that lineup, Devers to Martinez, is just a scary four in a row to face. I know Cole does pitch. I'm not sure when in this series. I think it's game 2 because game 3 is Erman. So I think Cole pitches tomorrow. He's had his problem with Rafael Devers, but that has been in Boston. Bogarts, Verdugo. Verdugo's a Yankee killer. He always shows up at Yankee Stadium. JD Martinez, he's always a power bat. He's always a guy that can pick one over the wall. So Boston is not a pushover team. And Michael Wacha, for some reason, this team plays good with Michael Wacha on the mound, 11-1. I'd be lying if I said I watched a ton of Red Sox games this year. But apparently Michael Wacha is leading them to some wins. A 2.61 ERA is pretty damn good. Kind of an underrated season for Michael Wacha, hell. But we got that going up against Taillon, and again, I haven't been the biggest fan of Taillon, but again, he's a guy that this team seems to win for. 13-5, I think, is a misleading record. And you could tell by his 4.4 ERA or 4.04 ERA. Let me not give him those extra 36 points and be fair to him for once. But I think this is going to be a tough series. I would probably hope for a 3-1. I mean, I'd hope for a sweep, but realistically, a 3-1. I don't think we should lose more than a game against this team because we are clearly better right now. Top to bottom, I would say. The only hole would probably be at shortstop. But even then, Bogarts to IKF defensively is pretty similar. Bogarts clears him at the plate, however. So gonna be fun. We got Taillon tonight. Let me check that. I think it is Cole tomorrow. Just give me 1 sec. Get it up. Yeah, it's gonna be Cole versus Rich Hill, good old Dick Mountain tomorrow. Germán versus Pivetta in game 3. Do they have a game 4 announcement? Yeah, Cortez versus Bello. Bello was pretty not great in his last game against the Yankees, if I remember. I feel like the name just popped up. I feel like I just saw his name in like a stat where he had like a 1.69 ERA over the last month. So yeah, those are the four starters. I don't really think we should lose more than a game. If we're gonna lose, I think it's gonna be tonight because I can't trust Taillon to go 6 innings, and this team just apparently wins for Michael Wacha. So Michael Wacha 11-1. We'll see if we can add a second loss to his season. But moving on, going on from amazing pitching performances, apparently from Michael Wacha, to some ones that everyone kind of knows about. The Cy Young race in the American League. McClanahan going down, I feel, has cleared the way for Justin Verlander. I think there's nobody better, than Justin Verlander right now. McClanahan had an amazing season, don't get me wrong, but the injuries I think did kill his shot because he came back. I think he got 2 starts and then he got hurt again. So Verlander, I think, is the clear Cy Young winner in the American League. MVP in the American League. This is a topic that has been going on for I think a little too long at this point. I feel like Judge very much clears Shohei at this point because Shohei Ohtani is a very, very good player, once in a lifetime player, yeah, but he's not leading you A team without Shohei Ohtani and a team with Shohei Ohtani is the same team record wise. Shohei Ohtani will help you, should help you win more games, but he hasn't. And you could say the same with Mike Trout. And they are both such good players that I don't think they kind of steal votes from each other when it comes to an MVP race. So far and away, I do think it's Justin Verlander to lose. Maybe Dylan Cease can steal a couple votes, but I think Verlander, with what he's done at 40, coming off a big Tommy John injury, I think he is the clear favorite for that. Other than that, you got guys like Alek Manoah and Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez, I think, just had his 25th consecutive quality start MLB record, beating DeGrom's 24, and he had and he's got a 2.57 ERA, and he's pitched the most innings in baseball. So Valdez also has a shot. Alek Manoah, I don't know about that. Alek Manoah, Alek Manoah has been outstanding this year. No, don't get me wrong. Alek Manoah has been really, really good this year, but I'm not sure if he's at that caliber right now. I think in the future he definitely will. Tommy, welcome back.
Sorry, man. I apologize, guys.
You're good. You're good. You're good. Right now we're talking about the Cy Young race in the AL. What do you think? I think Verlander's pretty much got it locked up with the injury to
Oh
McClanahan.
yeah, I mean, if McClanahan might have stayed healthy, he could have maybe surpassed him. But I think it's Verlander. If you look at his age, right? You look at the numbers. I think it's Verlander for sure, dude. To be honest with you, I don't know how he doesn't win it.
Well, I was also talking about the AL MVP a second ago and how Shohei and Trout would probably steal votes from each other. Do you think somebody like Framber Valdez could steal some votes from Verlander?
I
25
mean,
consecutive quality starts, record
yeah,
breaking.
yeah, yeah. No, listen, I think those numbers have been insane, but I still think it's Verlander, man.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
I agree with you,
that's
but just to stay consistent.
the
Uh
thing is that what's going to happen, and I don't know if this is fair or not, but they're going to take his age into consideration. They're going to take him coming back from that
Tommy John.
injury as a
Yeah.
consideration, right? This is a guy who's not 26 years old. Okay, this is a 35-year-old pitcher.
Yeah. 35,
Okay,
36.
so like that's it. And the real quick, that MVP with Judge, I think it's a runaway option for Judge. I would be appalled if it's anything other than Judge. Um, that's really where I stand with the AL MVP. I mean, you're talking about literally what Judge is doing this year, a top five season of all time offensively. I don't care if you hate the Yankees. I don't care if you love the Yankees. I don't care if you're not a baseball fan. What he's doing, he's going to hit probably 315. He's probably going to hit around 63 to 64 home runs, roughly, right? Let's call it another 3, 4 more, and then probably another 10 RBI. So he's about a line of 315, 63, and 140. Like what? I mean, it's something that hasn't. It's just it's incredible what he's doing. It doesn't matter what team you're a fan of, man. That's unbelievable numbers, and I would give this credit to anybody, whether they were on a rival team or they're on the team that I love. It's just special what he's doing. I think the NL MVP will go. I don't know if we did that already. I'm sorry.
No, no,
I
no.
will go
We did. We started with the AL, so go ahead.
okay.
For the NL.
My thing for the NL. I think that I'll do the MVP. I think it's going to go to Goldie. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
The Cy Young,
Agreed.
I'll let you. I'll hear your answer, but I'm going with NL MVP. I'm going with definitely Goldie.
No, I agree with Goldie. If anything, maybe Freddie Freeman could steal it, but I feel like he's missed a little too much time.
Yeah, the thing is though, honestly, if you take Freeman away from that Dodger team, they're still really good.
True, 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 true.
You take away Goldie. I mean, yeah, he has Arenado there, but you take away Goldie, that's a huge loss.
Well, you also have Pujols playing out of his mind in the second half of the season, and
Yeah, I
Adam
mean, I
Wainwright
think
still looking
I
like
think
his mid
I think
2010s
Pujols
form.
I think Pujols is just trying to prove me wrong against you. You said a while ago that you think he'll get to 700 this year. I said no shot. He has what, 698?
Yep, he's two away with about 15, 20 games left.
Dude, I told you no way. I told you
And
no shot.
he turned it on. He turned it on. That was a couple weeks ago. You told me that. But for the NL Cy Young, I think it's a lot closer of a race. I think Sandy Alcantara is the favorite right now in Miami. I think he's got 10 complete games this year. He's
Too bad.
outstanding.
Too bad Derek Jeter didn't stay there a little bit longer to go ahead and ship him
Right,
up to New York,
just
right?
package him up with, because apparently we were going after the second starter in Miami during the trade deadline. I forget who it is right now. But you got guys like Max Fried who's having a great year. Carlos Rodon, who I talked about earlier. I wanted Carlos Rodon instead of Montas come the trade deadline, but I saw why they traded for Montas. But Carlos Rodon is having a great year for the Giants. Zach Gallen with his scoreless streak has a good shot. But I think Sandy Alcantara has looked like the best pitcher in the
Yeah,
National
I
League for a
agree.
while.
And his numbers are insanely good for a team that's not that good. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody knew that the Giants overachieved last year with a bunch of like 33 and up guys that were just going outstanding,
Yeah,
like
dude,
just playing
105,
outstanding.
105 wins. Like, who saw that coming? Nobody.
No, nobody saw
Nobody.
that coming. So they kind of came back down to earth. Um, but yeah, I think Sandy Alcantara's got it locked up. I think it's a lot closer in the AL because maybe some guys give it to McClanahan, maybe somebody gives it to Cease because Dylan Cease has had a great year. Um, but other than that, that's really all I got. Rookie of the year, I think Adley Rutschman should get it for the American League just because
Well, what? Well, Julio's still considered a rookie, isn't he?
which Julio?
Julio Rodriguez for the Mariners, isn't he considered a rookie?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, he is
And let me tell
considered.
you what, I like Rushman a lot, but he's not beating J Rod,
Yeah,
which
J-Rod's doing it. Yeah, okay.
you know, you got to go with J Rod on that one.
I completely forgot about J-Rod, honestly. I completely forgot about the Mariners.
Yeah,
Um
all good, all good. I get it. They're in Seattle, you know.
yeah, it's just, I don't get a lot of coverage in Seattle, but yeah, I think Rodriguez and then Rushman. Um you've also got guys like Jeremy Pena and Bobby Witt that have played well, but it's a two-man race in the American League.
What about the National League? Is that kid Harris from the Braves a rookie?
Michael Harris, yes. Same thing with Spencer Strider,
Dude, Michael
also on the
Harris, dude.
Braves.
We were talking about him today. That kid, man, this kid's pretty good, man. He's a good player.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a reason that you should probably get rid of Marcelo Ozuna, Atlanta. You should probably not
Well, I would
employ
look for them
Marcelo
probably
Ozuna.
shipping him in the offseason after all his legal allegations as well.
Yeah. But you also got guys like Seiya Suzuki, who really had a good first half of the season, kind of slowed down a bit in the second half. And a guy that we saw over the last couple of days in O'Neal Cruz, who looks like a freak. And I said earlier when you were away that I think he's got like face of baseball kind of potential.
He
Freak
does.
athlete, power, speed. He's got it all.
Yeah, he's got the
Personality.
personality. Yeah, personality. Said at the same time, right? A little interview he did with Marakovich with Paul O'Neill. That was really cool. Uh, I watched him field the ground ball, dude. It looks like it doesn't even look like he's throwing a ball, and it's just a fucking
It's a
laser, dude.
rope.
It's unreal, bro. How good that. Imagine him being on a really good team, man, and just being like a cornerstone player for years to come. Listen, man, I know these small market teams got to have guys that are good, but I want him to come to us, man. I would trade for that kid, man. I don't even know how old he is, but I would take that kid on our team every day.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
have,
filthy.
we do have our prospects. Another guy I talked about earlier was Cabrera. How great he's looked.
Well, I'll tell you what. To talk about Cabrera, and we talk about this today as well, my other buddies. Um, with Benintendi being ruled out for the postseason, I don't know if you saw that. He's probably ruled out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. Uh, Cabrera very well could be your left fielder in the playoffs with center field being Bader and right field being Judge. Honestly,
He's
I think
transitioned perfectly to the outfield too.
I'm telling you right now, dude, I would not be shocked that I think he's going to be the opening day playoff roster starting left fielder. I'm
I
telling you
could
right
see that.
now.
I could see that. The
He,
only guy that maybe if Carpenter comes back, do you flip a coin on that?
I don't want Carpenter to play in the field in the playoffs.
Well,
I'd rather him be.
in a DH spot, you got to choose between him and Stanton, and I think you'd want Stanton in the DH spot.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. I think Carpenter gets pinch hit down maybe, let's say down 3-1 in the bottom of the eighth with a man on, and we could replace like Cabrera in the lineup with a Hicks and have what's his face pinch hit. That's what I can see happening maybe, but Carpenter won't be doing more than that. Pinch hit relief in the playoffs if needed. That's all I can see him making the roster if he does.
Okay. No. I think he's pretty much solidified his spot on the roster at this point.
And dude, the more and more they talk about it, like listen to Meredith yesterday, they're like, oh, hopeful if LeMahieu might not be here for the playoffs, just so you know. There's a chance DJ's out from what they're talking about.
From what I've heard recently over the last week is that he's looking to return before the postseason.
Yeah, looking to return. But and then what Meredith said yesterday was they don't know the status of DJ LeMahieu if he's coming back. So if he doesn't come back, Glaber's been playing too well anyway to be sitting. LeMahieu might be the odd man out if he's not coming back healthy from the injury. Donaldson's starting to swing the bat good. I can see the Yankees roster in the playoffs, regardless of lineup. It's center field Bader, right field Judge, left field Cabrera, Donaldson at third, Falefa at short, Torres at second, Rizzo at first, and Trevino behind the plate. That's going to be your playoff starting lineup.
I would still trust DJ before I trust IKF. If anything, I'd move Glaber to short and put DJ at second.
No shot they're going to move him the never. You'll never see Glaber play short in the playoffs.
He's played short. I would rather.
It's not going to happen. I get it because you get LeMahieu in the lineup, but between LeMahieu's injury and it's a hand injury, what was it? It's a sore thumb or something he has, right?
Yeah.
Something, right? So I'm just saying, if he can't grip the bat and swing, I'm telling you, bro, they're not going to put Glaber at shortstop. No way. Especially in the playoffs, dude.
It's just if I see DJ, I feel like it's going to be on the roster. I don't think he's injured to the point.
What did Ray say in our group chat 2 weeks ago? DJ needs to hike up his skirt and stop being a little bitch or something like that. He said maybe a little bit out of context, but Ray said something very similar to that.
And then he got put on the IL because he was legitimately hurt. Ray was mad because he was there, but he wasn't suited up. And then he went on the IL.
He made fun of him for being hurt and going on the DL. I don't know if he maybe cursed or using expletive like that. Sorry, Ray, if I made you seem like a mean monster, but you definitely said something along those lines about LeMahieu and his availability. That's for sure.
But either way, I feel like if we're going to use DJ at all, and I do think he's going to be healthy enough for the playoffs, I'd rather have him in the lineup over who am I going to pinch hit him for? Like Donaldson?
No, I get it. I get you want him in the lineup. I just don't know if he's going to be healthy enough to be in the lineup. If he's healthy, you got to play. If he's healthy, you got to put LeMahieu in there. That's a no-brainer.
But that's what I'm saying. If you don't want to put Glaber at short, that means you got to take Donaldson out.
No, then it would be Falefa out. No,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So you put Glaber at short.
Oh, yeah, that's tough. You can't put Glaber at short, man. Oh,
you can put Glaber at short.
Nah, they won't do it in the playoffs, bro. They can't. They need the best defensive lineup out there. You're right.
And IKF has been great at shortstop this year, right? IKF has been trash at shortstop this year.
I feel like he makes the harder plays and makes the easy plays look tough.
It's the routine plays that he fucks up, and that's what you're gonna get most of in the playoffs. You're not gonna have a chance to make a spectacular play every play.
Yeah.
I'd rather trust Glaber at shortstop and in the lineup, and have DJ at second and in the lineup than I would trust IKF at either. I don't think he's a great defender at shortstop. I don't think he's a great hitter at the plate. His average is misleading, and he hits a lot of ground balls.
Yeah. He's always been that guy, though. He's always been a guy who hits like around 275 with, his being all slap hits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
listen, man, I apologize, guys. Thursday's a little bit tough right now with working and then getting my daughter, so I've been late. I apologize. Next week I will be on time and a little bit better. Sorry guys, once again I missed a bunch of it, but next week I have to work some things out to get out and available a little bit earlier. So Chris, I know you're having a great top 10 for us. Last thing I will say is I'm feeling much better about this team than I was 3 weeks ago. Guys are coming back. Guys are healthy. Hitters, we're hitting. Pitching is pitching. Sevy looked good. Uh, let's go Yankees, man. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen these last couple weeks. And I want to see Judge hit like 65. That'd be sweet.
I wouldn't go that far. I think 63 is a good number.
Dude, he has 60. He has 61, right?
Yeah, but he just went on a big
Or
streak, and I
did
feel
he tie Maris?
no, he's at 60. He's at 60
He's
even.
at 60. Dude, there's
And
14 games
listen,
left. I
I'm
mean,
going to the game Saturday, so I hope he holds out till then.
I'm going to the game next Sunday, October 2nd.
I doubt he doesn't hit a home run until next Sunday.
Imagine that, dude. Imagine I'm at the game when he breaks it. I'll lose my mind. I'll be
Oh,
going
trust
live.
me. Like I said, I'll be there Saturday. I'll have my phone out for his every at bat. But
Of
Tommy, thanks for
course, makes
stopping
sense.
by.
All right, guys.
See you
Sorry,
next
boys. I'll be
week.
back next week, guys. Good luck. Good night. Let me see your list. I want to see what it is later. Throw it in the chat.
I got you. I'll put it
All
in the
right.
chat.
Later, bub.
All right. Thanks, Tommy, for the cameo at this point. So I guess yeah, we can get into my top 10. I was gonna talk about I wanted to see what he thought about the final stretch of the year with Boston, Toronto, Baltimore, and then Texas, but we can get into that next week, with just the Baltimore and Texas. In the top 10 this week, I got Giancarlo Stanton. And I think Giancarlo Stanton, he hit the grand slam, and that's what gets him in the top 10, honestly. Nestor was an honorable mention. I think he just needs to just get those innings up. I feel like I'm a little picky with him because I kind of dog on Tyon for not pitching a lot of innings, but I don't do it for Nestor and Herman. But I think that that Stanton would just save the game with his grand slam, and that's what puts him where he's at. Number 9, since returning from injury, Aroldis Chapman. He's looked good. He's looked pretty good. Again, I earlier talked about the closer situation. Chapman, I could see Boone going with Chapman. I think if you want to look at a guy that has seniority at the closer position, Chapman's the guy. If you want someone to face lefties, I would pit Chapman in over Britton right now because I don't know what Britton looks like. I think Chapman is the guy over the last couple of games, just 2 innings, 2 Ks, but no runs, and a hit. So I like Chapman. Number 9, he had a pretty good week. And he might be the closer come postseason time. Number 8, Luis Severino played really well last night. Again, when he's healthy, I would expect him to go 6 or 7. 5 is not what I want to see out of Severino, but I know he was on a pitch count. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. Can't really hate that. Especially with how the Yankees dogged this team yesterday. Severino, really, really good in his return. I would say he's the number 2 starter right now, and I have Nestor at 3. Number 7, I got Josh Donaldson. He's another guy. He's made this list a couple of times this season. He's been on and off because he just has weeks where he looks really good and weeks where he looks really bad. And last week, he was pretty good. 300 average, basically a 1 OPS, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. He had the home run off the foul pole to tie it. I think that was in Milwaukee. And then we blew it and then Holmes blew it in the next inning. But yeah, Donaldson, he's had a pretty good. The problem has been with his bat. He's been really, really good defensively when on the field, when he's healthy. But just, man, the bat, it comes and goes. So last week, he had 300, damn near 1 OPS, 2 home runs. That's what gets him on the top 10 this week. Number 6, Domingo Herman. He will return as a starter, or at least an opener, on Saturday. He's taken some bullpen reps over the last week, so I just gave him the September numbers because he really has, I think, only pitched 3 2/3 out of the bullpen. And even before then, he only pitched 1 inning in his last opener appearance. So I think Domingo overall has been really, really good since coming to this team, coming back. Sub 3 ERA in September so far, 15 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, 14 hits. You'd want those hits to go down, but it's not leading to a lot of runs. So Domingo Herman, number 6, I think he will be, I would probably say, a long relief guy in the playoffs. If not, maybe he's the 4 starter over Montas if he's not back or good. Maybe Herman takes that 4 spot. Number 5, immediate impact, Harrison Bader. Love this guy. He's fun. 375, 5 RBIs, and a double in his first couple of games. Love to see that. His defense, we haven't really seen him get a chance to flash the leather, but we know he's great. We know he's one of the better defenders in the league. So, Bader, I'll take him. I'll take him at 5 right now. Guys like, he had a very similar week to Donaldson, but I think Bader is just a little more fun to watch. And he had a really good week coming to the Yankees. He didn't burn under the pressure. Harrison Bader looked really good, and Herman just didn't play enough. But number 4, I got Jonathan Loaizaga. Why is he number 4? And Domingo has played great, and he's number 6, and Bader's played 2 games. Well, I don't think Loaizaga, 2 of those earned runs in September really shouldn't be earned. You had, of course, he walks a guy, then a single, and then a throwing error by Anthony Rizzo. That makes it first and third, then a slap shot, then an out, then a slap shot single. That wouldn't have scored a run if a guy wasn't on third because of an error. And then he gets pulled, and Clay Holmes allows a 3-run home run to O'Neal Cruz. So I don't think Loaizaga is to blame for those 3 runs. And honestly, I would probably say he's the closest thing to a closer we have because Marnazio is young. I wouldn't necessarily put him in that high leverage role just yet. But Jonathan Loaizaga, I think, is that guy right now. And he's the guy that we kind of pegged to be the guy to take over for Chapman at the beginning of the year before guys like King and Holmes really broke out. Number 3 is probably one of my favorite guys to watch on the team right now, and that's Oswaldo Cabrera. Offensively, he turned it up this week. 412 of 1487 OPS, 2 home runs, including a grand slam, 7 RBIs on the week. And again, he's just great defensively. Put him at short, put him at second, put him at first, put him at left field, right field. He's played it all for this team, whatever we needed, and he's been really, really good. So, Oswaldo Cabrera, number 3. Number 2, I do have Gleyber Torres. He had the 2 home runs last night. That's a big part of this. But this also carries over from last week where he played really well. He's had a really, really good last 2 weeks. I don't think he played bad enough to drop. So that's what keeps him at 2. Oswaldo has a good shot at 2. If you want to put him at 2, I wouldn't hate it. But Gleyber Torres is going to stay at 2 just because of his consistency. Number 1, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This isn't real. These aren't real numbers. 55 games since the All-Star break. He's hitting 374, a 1400 OPS since the All-Star break in 55 games. Like, Cabrera has done that in the last week. Small sample size. Judge has done that over 60 games. 27 home runs, 58 RBIs, 51 times he's scored, 60 strikeouts to 61 walks. He's walking as much as he's striking out, and he gets a lot of bad calls. So, Aaron Judge, by far number 1. And he will be there until the end of the season. And hopefully he will be the MVP. So it will not only be me saying that he is number 1. So that is my top 10. I'm going to have it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Judge 1, Torres 2, Cabrera 3, Loaizaga 4, Bader 5, Domingo 6, Donaldson 7, Severino 8, Chapman 9, and Giancarlo Stanton 10. That is my top 10 for this week. Hopefully, Tommy will agree with me. Um, when I'm able to talk to him again. But right now we're just going to talk about, we're going to recap week 4. We still got a little bit of time left, so we're going to recap week 2 of the NFL season. Started off right after our podcast last week. Came Chargers Chiefs. I had the Chargers winning that game. I think I had it 31-28. Chiefs end up pulling it out. Justin Herbert busted up his ribs. Hopefully they don't Tyrod Taylor him. But Chiefs pulled it out. Good performance. Chargers, I still think they're going to win the division, but they need to just beat this hurdle that is the Chiefs right now. And the Chiefs still look really good, even without Tyreek Hill, who we're going to talk about in a second. Then we got the Patriots Steelers, kind of a boring game. This rivalry's kind of lost all meaning without Big Ben and Tom Brady. I mean, you got Tomlin and you got Belichick, but other than that, it's just a bunch of new pieces. Trubisky did not play well. The defense, the pass rush really is just all TJ Watt at this point. And with him down, they really just got no pressure on Mac Jones. But Patriots were able to squeak it out 17-14. The New York Football Giants are undefeated. They're 2-0. They beat the Panthers. Baker Mayfield not having a great start in Carolina. Kind of feel for him because I'm not the biggest Baker guy, but I didn't think he was as bad as people were saying he was. He played a lot of last year through injury when he really shouldn't have, and he looked worse because of it. And then he just gets replaced in Cleveland by Deshaun Watson, who is that's really disrespectful given what Deshaun Watson was going through and everything that he was dealing with off the field. But Giants 2-0. Daniel Jones, I still don't think is the guy that's going to win you a ton of more games, but I could be wrong. The defense looks strong. Saquon looks really good. Hopefully he's not injured by week 4. But yeah, Giants 2-0. Jets Browns. The Browns browned so hard in this game. First team in NFL history to blow a 13-point lead in 90 seconds. That's insane. Nick Chubb is getting a lot of the flack. I don't think it's on Nick Chubb. You definitely could have stopped. The defense could have gotten a stop. They could have gotten the onside kick, and they could have gotten another stop. It goes a long way before it goes to Nick Chubb. So, but yeah, Joe Flacco, he looked elite, and he's like 18-3 against your poverty franchise, Cleveland. So, Joe Flacco has won an NFL game in 2022, and I didn't think I'd say that. But the Jets eked it out 31-30. Jaguars and the Colts. I picked the Colts to be the winner of the NFC South or the AFC South. Whoops, they look bad. They look really, really bad. Not being able to beat the Texans and the Jaguars is really, really bad. Trevor Lawrence looked really, really good, though. I really like Trevor Lawrence. I hope he is able to show a little bit of that college potential that he had. But we'll see. The Colts just look really bad, especially without Michael Pittman this week. Matt Ryan just didn't really have a guy to throw to. I think Sam Ehlinger get some reps? I watched Red Zone. I use Red Zone every Sunday, so they really only pan over when there's a big thing happening. So I might have been out of the room and Sam Ehlinger checked in out of Texas. I like Sam Ehlinger though, when in his Longhorn days. I honestly thought he should have gotten a starting spot or a higher round draft pick. I think he was like in the 4th round. But either way, Jaguars, James Robinson looked good. Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, they have a kind of sneaky good wide receiver core. They still shouldn't have reset the wide receiver market with Christian Kirk, though. That was kind of nasty. But Jaguars beat the Colts 24-0. Dolphins Ravens in what is right now the game of the year. Um, this was wild. It was a wild game. The Ravens were up 35-14 in the fourth quarter. And then Tua took it personally and just ran down the field and just dotted everyone up. Um, the defense started playing a little too soft. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle will blow by you every single time you do that. So the Ravens learned the hard way that this is probably the most dynamic wide receiver duo in the league. And Tua proves kind of his haters wrong that he can throw the ball more than 20 yards. He doesn't have a noodle arm. But then you got on the other side of the ball, Lamar Jackson needs to get paid. In the NFL world, he's Aaron Judge right now. He is by far one of the better players in the league, and he's looking like it. He had a crazy 70-yard run. He had the big touchdown passes to Bateman and Duvernay. There's really not a lot more you could ask out of Lamar Jackson. You just got to pay him. It's the Aaron Judge situation for the Yankees. He's just really good. Just pay him. Just pay him. But Miami, 42-38. Justin Tucker couldn't save you this time. Buccaneers Saints. This game was really sloppy and really not fun to watch. Jameis Winston's back is cooked. He's got like 4 fractured vertebrae. He really should not have been playing. And he saw Tampa Bay and he was dotting them up like he was a couple of years ago, except he plays for the Saints now. Yeah, just not a good performance out of Jameis. He didn't have Alvin Kamara, so I can't really give him too much of a pass. But there's an excuse that Alvin Kamara was a game time decision, and he definitely is their RB1. On the other side, Brady just could not get anything going against the Saints defense. Even Marshawn Lattimore and Michael Tom and Mike Evans, that whole situation where they got into a brawl again. Like those guys are just like on-site beef. So other than that, Brady frustrated because the offense could really get nothing going. They did just sign Cole Beasley, who I'm a big fan of, and Tom Brady getting a white slot receiver. The league might be cooked, I fear. But the Tampa Bay's take it out. They're also 2-0. They don't look very good offensively, but they're 2-0. Commanders and the Lions. Dan Campbell's a fun coach. You know, Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like a top 10 wide receiver. Jared Goff looks decent. DeAndre Swift is playing to his potential. The Lions lost a lot of close games last year, you know, so this isn't too crazy to think that they would take a step. And it looks like they are. Tough competitive game last week against Philadelphia. And then a game that it wasn't as close as the score made it seem. It was 36-27. And Washington missed an extra point. So it would have been an 8-point game if Washington made that extra point. But the Lions really just took control of most of the game. So good on the Lions. Commanders, you got your Carson Wentz experience. There's Carson Wentz and there's Carson Wentz. And that was bad for the first half. And that is what Carson Wentz will give you. He's a very good quarterback when he's on, but when he's off, he is rough. He's rough to watch. And I remember when people said he was better than Dak. But the Lions take down the Commanders 36-27. 49ers Seahawks. We will never see Trey Lance throw a football as a 49er, I think. The gods have deemed it so. Broken ankle, out for the season, got surgery. That's rough. Jimmy G is back. I guess they're happy that they kept Jimmy G around now. And he's a guy that I haven't been the biggest fan of. I think he's a very average quarterback. But he just finds ways to win games, and honestly, that's all you could ask for. And in a game managing quarterback, I couldn't think I was game changing, but no, he's definitely not game changing. He's a good game manager. Is Jimmy G, and he game managed the hell out of this game. 2 touchdowns. He ended up leading the 49ers past the Seahawks 27-7. The only touchdown that the Seahawks scored were on a blocked field goal return. So clearly Geno Smith not the option in Seattle. 49ers 27, Seahawks 7. Then we got the Falcons and the Rams. The Rams almost falconed. The Rams were up 28-3. And they almost blew it. They almost blew it. I have the Rams defense in fantasy, and it was kind of unfair because there was, I think, a pick 6 and a fumble 6 for Atlanta. And those points were adding to the defense when the defense wasn't even on the field. So that upset me a little bit. But yeah, Rams almost falconed 31-27. They were up 28-3 and came down to Marcus Mariota throwing a jump ball. And you can't do that with Jalen Ramsey. I know he got cooked last week, but he's not gonna get beat like that. Rams 31, Falcons 27. Cardinals Raiders, again, another game that was just on crack. Raiders at one point were up 20-0 and 23-7, 23-3. I think it was 23-7. And he lost. They lost on, for some reason, a guy who just fumbled wasn't pulled out of the game. But then you target him again and he fumbles again. And this time it's in overtime. And he picks up the ball and returns it for a game-ending touchdown, a walk-off touchdown. Oh, the Raiders will find ways to lose, and I have fun saying that. Josh McDaniels is a fucking hack of a coach. And you can ask Denver and Buffalo how they feel about that. Cardinals 29. Oh, also Kyler Murray is cracked. Kyler Murray, Jesus Christ, he runs around the field and finds ways to score. Cardinals 29, Raiders 23. For the Broncos and Texans, I could sleep through most of this game. Broncos can't find the end zone with their talented offense, which is odd. And the Texans are tanking. Really not a lot to talk about in that game. Nathaniel Hackett looks like a really bad coach. Broncos 16, Texans 9. Bengals, Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, though? Cooper Rush. It's Cooper Rush hour. Cooper Rush looked really good. Dare I say looked better than Dak did last week. But Cincinnati came storming back. Joe Burrow, they look bad. The offensive line looks just as cooked as it has been the last 5 years. So I am not quite sure what the Bengals are doing right now. T. Higgins is still great. Jamar Chase is still great. Joe Mixon is still great. But that offensive line is cooked. It's not giving Joe Burrow any type of time. But the Cowboys, cool. We won. I don't think we're going to win a lot of more games until although I do think we're going to beat the Giants on Monday. I think the Giants are kind of overhyped, and the Dallas defense is still pretty good. So 20-17, game-winning field goal by Brett Maher. I can't believe I'm saying that in 2022. I wanted his head on a pike in 2019. But yeah, 20-17, Cowboys over the Bengals. Bears, Packers. Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears. It's nothing new here, nothing to see. Aaron Rodgers is probably on like a perk 9,000. Packers 27, Bears 10. Justin Fields is not looking very good as a quarterback one so far. He had the week last week against San Francisco, but the elements were very much a factor in that game. And the Packers always get blown up in week 1, and Aaron Rodgers is pissed in week 2, and he takes it out on a poor franchise. And this time it was just the franchise he owns in Chicago. Bears 10, Packers 27. Bills, Titans. Bills are Super Bowl bound. This team looks great. This team looks unstoppable. Josh Allen looks like a god. Stephon Diggs looks like the best receiver in football. The defense is outstanding. Derrick Henry might also be cooked, which is sad to say because I drafted him in the first round of my fantasy league. But yeah, the Titans, they just don't look good. And maybe losing AJ Brown and Julio Jones will make you look bad. Just a thought. Bills 41, Titans 7. And the second Monday night game, along with the Bills and the Titans, Eagles Vikings. Kirk Cousins losing on Monday Night Football. There's nothing new here, nothing to see, nothing's crazy, nothing's out of the ordinary. Jalen Hurts, though, looks like an MVP candidate. And I kind of suspected he would. I think AJ Brown is a top 10 receiver in football. And then you add him to Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. I think that's a really, really good receiving core. So, Eagles, I think, could win the division, especially with Dak Prescott out for at least 6 to 8 weeks. So, Eagles 24, Vikings 7. Just to recap, it's just to look forward to tonight. Steelers Browns. Is that really something to look forward to tonight? Steelers, no TJ Watt. Yeah, Mitch Trubisky against Jacoby Brissett. The running back matchups will look cool. You know, Najee Harris and Nick Chubb. I really like Nick Chubb. I do have him in fantasy as well. But honestly, this is a rivalry game. Again, you're there's no Big Ben. This is a very fresh Pittsburgh team. So we'll see how the game goes tomorrow. I would probably still pick Pittsburgh. No, I'll go with the Browns. They browned pretty hard. I think they're going to be upset. I think Nick Chubb is going to have a big game. Amari Cooper looked really good last week. I don't know how well he's going to do against guys like Minkah Fitzpatrick, but we'll see. Donovan Peoples-Jones is also a good second option. I think he's kind of an underrated guy in the league. But yeah, that was the week 2 recap for the NFL season. And with that, I am going to call it an episode. I know it was mostly me this week, unfortunately. Hopefully Tommy will be able to pull it together and get a good spot next week. And then we could have a good final episode of the regular season next week, because afterwards it's postseason time. So this is me for Tommy and everybody else at Fired Up Sports. Calling in an end to episode 15. Thank you everybody for watching, tuning in. This will be up on our Facebook and our YouTube. So if you missed any part of this episode and want to go back, you can watch it there. So bye.